Hey guys, good afternoon. Welcome back to the channel, United Red Devils 20 on YouTube. Please subscribe, bottom right hand corner if you're new. And then to share the video, hit the tweet button, hit the retweet button, and to always remember to put the notification bell on at all times to receive dedicated content right throughout the rest of 2023 this year on my YouTube channel, United Red Devils 20. Good afternoon. Welcome back to the channel. Hope everyone's enjoying their Thursday afternoon. Hope everyone's looking forward to the end of this week. Hope everyone is looking forward to another brand new weekend in January 2023. And I hope you're all looking forward to the Emirates FA Cup third round this weekend in the 2022-2023 campaign. And you know what? I hope you're all looking forward to your weekend as well. And thank you for all the support so far you've all shown me this year in 2023. I'd have to subscribe bottom right hand corner to my YouTube channel, United Red Devils 20. And welcome to your Emirates FA Cup third round match preview for Manchester United third round home game against Everton Football Club at Old Trafford on Friday evening. It is an 8 p.m. home evening kickoff on Friday the 6th of January 2023. And hopefully this is going to be a very, very successful Manchester United season for all the fans, all the supporters, and all the hopes and prayers that we have for this current campaign we are going on. And the way we're performing at the moment under Ten Hag, and the way Everton are continuing to struggle under Frank Lampard. Will this be his last game on charge on Friday night? I can see nothing more than a Manchester United win. I think Man United are going to run out comfortable winners on Friday night, and I think Everton are going to be there for the taking. I think the way they are getting dismantled by absolutely everybody they're facing. I mean, you looked at the previous Premier League results between Everton and Brighton absolutely ripping Everton apart at Goodison Park, and the way Lampard just stormed out down the channel and down the tunnel, and it was a matter of, it's not a matter of when, but if Frank Lampard is going to be sacked by Everton. I think Everton are going to really, really struggle. I think Manchester United are going to take them, and I think it's going to be a very, very comfortable night for the Old Trafford fans and supporters at Old Trafford on Friday night. It's an 8 p.m. home evening kickoff, which, you know, is a good Friday night kickoff. It is live on the telly on the ITV1 and ITV1 HD channels. And you know what? I'm looking forward to the FA Cup this season. I think we're targeting several trophies under Eric Ten Hag, and I think we've got the players now, and I think we've basically got the team to basically get Manchester United back to the top. And I have full confidence this is the right manager Man United have finally got to actually progress under. I think Eric Ten Hag is going to go full strength Friday night. I think he's really counting on the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup this season. I think we're doing well in the league. We won our last 6 games in a row. We are going to make it 7 on Friday night. I think Everton, the way they're performing at the moment, I think they are going to concede goals left, right and centre. You look at Everton's defence, you look at their midfield, and you look at their attack. There's not really any big threats on Manchester United's goal. I mean, for me, Everton have only got really 2 or 3 good danger players, and that's Damari Gray. I'd basically have a push at Anthony Gordon. But apart from that, I think Everton this season are basically showing why they should have been relegated last season from the Premier League. And really, they shouldn't even be in the Premier League now. Burnley should still be in the Premier League. Everton broke financial fair play last season. I think Frank Lampard absolutely took a hit, wonder of ambition, thinking he could deliver Everton back to the top of English football, and it simply hasn't happened for Frank Lampard. I think leaving Derby was a massive, massive mistake. Then leaping from a Championship team to a Premier League team where he embarrassed himself at Chelsea and not getting sacked, and then ended up going to Everton and now is facing the sack for the 3rd time. It basically shows that ex-players do not make great managers, and that is showing at Everton. And I do fear for Everton fans Friday night. I think Man United are going to shift 4 or 5 goals past you. I think the way Everton are just conceding their goals, I mean, their defence is very, very poor. They conceded 4 in their last game. And I think Everton are going to go down this season. I think it's about time they were put into the Championship to see how they would actually cope in a league lower than the Prem, because I think they've become that team that have been so set in their own ways under Lampard that the Championship is basically calling Everton, Everton, Everton. We want you in our league next season. And I think, I'm sorry to say, it's going to happen that way, and it's going to happen to Everton's fans and supporters this season. And I think Man United have got a huge opportunity to win 2 or 3 trophies this season. I think we are targeting the FA Cup. I think we're targeting the Carabao Cup. And I think we are going to try and win the Europa League as well. And I think, if we can win all 3 trophies, that's nothing more than a successful season, winning 3 trophies under a brand new manager, and also getting top 4 and getting back into the UEFA Champions League next season is a major, major important clause for Erik ten Hag as our current manager at Manchester United. And I think the way the bench was looking against Bournemouth the other night when we won 3-0 at Old Trafford on match day 17, I think United have rested a lot of their big name players, because I think Erik ten Hag is looking at the team and he's looking at the players he's got, and he's thinking, do you know what? I'm going to have to play my big guns against Everton. He's going to have to use players I think we don't really want to have to use, but we're going to have to use them anyway. And I think he's going to go full strength. I think he knows Everton are going to be vulnerable in defence. And I think the way Everton conceded the goals against Brighton, it wouldn't surprise me if we go into half-time 2 or 3-0 up, and then we absolutely finish the job off in the second half, because I don't want to be sat here with a 0-0 draw at half-time on Friday night. And I mean, at least we can all watch the game. I mean, it's a bonus. It's on the telly. I think there's some cracking FA Cup games this weekend as well. But the main focus is on Manchester United getting into round 4. And I think if United can start well, they can control the game and deal with Everton's really biggest threat of Demarai Gray and Anthony Gordon. I think Manchester United are going to be in for a very, very comfortable night on Friday night. And I think a 4th round is basically there looking at us thinking, do you know what? We're going to be through on Friday night. I can't see Everton causing an upset. But it's the magic of the FA Cup. Anything can happen. The bigger teams can go out to the lower league teams. But I think the way Lampard is managing Everton, the vulnerability is going to show from minute go, because the players' confidence Everton's going to be low. I think the enthusiasm at Everton is starting to derail very quickly, and I can't understand why Everton have still continued to back Frank Lampard and they've still kept him on as manager. I mean, if Everton have got a proper board and they're a proper football club, they would be making a big decision. They really should have sacked Frank Lampard after the Brighton dismantling on Wednesday night. It basically showed that Everton are basically screwed. They are fucked and they are going to get relegated. And the biggest game they did not want to be playing next was away to Manchester United. And the way we're on form at the moment, winning our last 6 games and the amount of goals we're scoring, I can't see Everton keeping Manchester United quiet. And I think we're going to take full advantage of that. I think Man United, the way we are at the moment, we take our last 6 games, we've won all 6 and we're playing some very good, attractive football. I think Erik ten Hag is basically laying down the law that we need to win trophies. We need to get back to the top. We shouldn't be where we are. And we're currently joint 3rd in the Premier League, and that's massive progress on where we were at the start of the season. But I think the way the team was on Tuesday night against Bournemouth and we won 3-0, which was a very good result on match day 17 of the current Premier League season, I think Manchester United are going to go full strength. And I think Erik ten Hag will have to, because he knows he has to win trophies. He knows the pressure is on. If Manchester United were to have an upset course on Friday night and we were to crash out of the FA Cup, and hopefully a lot of the big teams will fall to the lower league sides in the 3rd round, and hopefully there will be some shock results. And that's the magic FA Cup. That will happen. Big teams will end up losing to the smaller minnow teams, and it can happen. I mean, that's the magic of the competition. But I can't see really any upset being caused by Everton. I mean, if they can start well and then go with a team they believe in, I think Everton might put a lot of the kids out, because I think personally, they know they're going to get dismantled anyway. And I think this will be Frank Lampard's last game as manager. I think Erik ten Hag's side are going to take full advantage of Everton's dismantling from the Brighton result. And they're going to go to Old Trafford on Friday night, and Man United are going to put 4 or 5 past Everton. And I know if I was an Everton fan, I would be massively, massively concerned what the scoreline's going to turn out to be, because if Everton are 3 or 4-0 down at halftime, I wouldn't be too surprised if half the Everton fans are gone by halftime, because I don't think they're going to be able to keep the midfield battle. I don't think their defence is going to work. And I think the attack, I mean, what Everton have really got, I mean, why have they not shifted Calvert-Lewin on as well? It's an absolute joke from a football club's point of view. And Anthony Gordon really should have been sold in the summer to Chelsea. And I think he would have been a good player for Chelsea. And I think Chelsea would have been in a better shape of form where they are under Graham Potter. But I think Frank Lampard is going to have to try and go for the win. But I think no matter what Frank Lampard does, or no matter what team he puts out on Friday, I think the players have down tools at Everton. I think they are not backing the manager. And I think really Everton should be in a better shape than where they are at the moment. Everton should not be fighting relegation. They're a big club. They're a big team that's been massively, massively great in the last 8-9 years ago, but all of a sudden, the amount of managers Everton have gone through, it's like going through recycle bins. It's like the amount of trash they've appointed and the amount of crap players that club have actually got. It's no wonder in a relegation battle, and that's down to the Everton board. They're basically like Manchester United owners. They haven't got a clue how to run a football club. They don't know what players to sign, what players to get rid of. And basically, Frank Lampard just having two hands tied behind his back thinking, what players can I actually got? Because I'm looking at Everton team. Jordan Pickford, for me, I think will probably start in goal. I think letting Luca Digne go is a massive mistake. I think Mikhailienko ain't very good. You look at that back four of Michael Keane and Yerry Mina. I mean, bloody hell, I can't believe that Everton have still kept those two. Seamus Coleman, I mean, at right back, I mean, he's been done for years. I mean, if we're going to push, I mean, the midfield at Everton, I mean, Doucouré doesn't really want to be there. I think Onana hasn't really worked. And I think you look at the front three, Calvert-Lewin ain't good enough anymore. Anthony Gordon's head and mental state, I don't think is there in an Everton shirt. And Alex Iwobi is just a B-Tech Arsenal reject who got let go by Arsenal because he wasn't good enough. And basically Everton pounced at the chance to get him thinking he'd add quality. I mean, we beat them 2-1 away in the Premier League thanks to a Ronaldo goal, which made him get his 700th goal. But I think since we've let Ronaldo go, I think Manchester United have been a better team. I think there's been a lot more consistency. We're winning a lot more games. And I think his bad attitude in training, his unacceptable behaviour behind the scenes when Solskjaer and Rangnick were there, it basically showed that I think Ronaldo was the problem. And you look at our last 6 games, don't we look such a much a better team without Ronaldo? And you have to beat around the bush. We are a better team without Ronaldo. But I still look at that strike force Manchester United have got. I don't trust Martial and I don't trust Anthony Elanga. And for me, I know Marcus Rashford's on fire, but he's only one injury away from being out for the rest of the season with a hamstring or a knee or an ankle injury. And Manchester United are up the creek without a paddle again, trying to sign a striker in a January transfer window. I mean, apparently we're going to announce the sign of Jack Butland from Crystal Palace on a season-long loan deal, a backup goalkeeper to De Gea. I mean, that doesn't really get me excited. A backup goalkeeper who's not really kicked a ball for 3 years because we fucked up the Martin Dubravka situation, let him get recalled by Newcastle off his loan, and now we're having to go to an Crystal Palace reject who hasn't kicked a ball for 3 years, and you then wonder why Man United are in the state they are. I mean, he's not going to be playing on Friday night. They have to sign him before a certain time for him to make his debut. And I mean, I will support Jack Butland if it's an Eric Ten Hag signing. I will support that, and we will do a video and we will go live once Manchester United have announced the signing of Jack Butland. But the main issue Man United have got is that strike force. They haven't replaced Ronaldo, they haven't replaced Cavani, and they should have replaced both of them. This is why we are in the mess we are in. We are a mess because of the owners and the board of this football club are taking the mercenaries and making this football club laughed at every week because we can't control how we are running this club. The fans and supporters are fed up. I'm fed up. And we want our football club back. And you wonder why the fans are moaning at the club, begging the club to sign a striker. And it doesn't even look like we're even going to get one. I mean, they're arguing over the João Felix loan. Apparently, we're now looking at Choupo-Moting from Bayern Munich. I mean, 33 years of age, that doesn't get me excited. Bloody Choupo-Moting. And then on about then looking at Memphis Depay again. And it's like, I want a proper striker. I want a proper number 9, what Eric Ten Hag wants. And that would have been ideal to have that striker in the first week of January. We've already wasted a week. We've got important games this month, obviously against Everton tomorrow. We've then got Arsenal and Man City. We've got Charlton in the Carabao Cup quarterfinals, which we're basically through anyway to the semi-final next Tuesday night. And then looking at February, we've got to play our rearranged games against Palace and Leeds. We've then got Barcelona in 2 legs in Europa League knockout round playoff at the Nou Camp and at Old Trafford, first and second leg. And you're wondering what strikers Man United are going to have availability to. And you basically know that Eric Ten Hag is basically sweating on Marcus Rashford to get in the goals and get in the wins and get Man United across the finish line. Like I said about Marcus Rashford, it's only going to take 1 or 2 injuries and he'll be on the hospital bed again. And that's what will happen. It will be the same with Elanga and Martial. They are not a good enough striking partnership to play for Man United full time. I don't want to see Martial and Anthony Elanga in that team. They are simply not good enough. And Man United need to realise which players are good and which players are crap. I'm done with Deadwood FC players at this club, and there's a lot of these snakes in this dressing room that are still there, probably causing problems behind the scenes. But Erik ten Hag is basically laying down the law, saying, I'm not taking any shit off you lot. I'm the manager. You'll do what I say and you'll play how I want you to play. And that is what I like about Erik ten Hag. For me, in my opinion, he's been the best manager since Sir Alex Ferguson, in my opinion. I think Moyes was a flop, Van Gaal was a flop, Mourinho was a flop, Solskjaer was a flop, and so was Ralf Rangnick. Well, Ralf Rangnick really should have been kept to help rebuild the club of Erik ten Hag, and we might have been in a better situation heading into a huge transfer window when you've seen Spurs, Arsenal, Chelsea, Liverpool, Man City all going to spend in January. Man United so far are only basically getting a backup goalkeeper in Jack Butland from Palace. I mean, no disrespect, he's not played for 3 years, but does that signing get you off your feet as a Man United fan? No, it doesn't. But we're having to sign up backup goalkeeper because Martin Dubravka has gone back to Newcastle. I mean, I would rather have just recalled Dean Henderson, sold him, gone and got a backup goalkeeper permanently, and then I would have then got a striker. There are strikers available out there, and God forbid if Martial and Rashford both play Friday night and it looks like they're both going to start, if one of those two pick up an injury, we're basically relying on Elanga, who apparently wants to go to Everton on loan for the rest of the season, and Everton are desperately trying to sign Elanga, but apparently we're not going to try and sell Elanga until we get a replacement in. So what is taking Man United so fucking long to get a striker in? It's because Man United are sat on their fat ass, probably sat on Football Manager, trying to get a bloody striker in. They think who's going to be cheap and available in January because they don't want to spend the big bucks, because they know the club's up for sale, the Glazers are taking the piss again, and Erik ten Hag is not being backed as manager. And people can tell me, well, Erik ten Hag had 200 million and more to spend in the summer. That wasn't enough. And like Mark Goldbridge said on the United Stand, we need 300 to 400 million spending on that team. And he's right. He's absolutely correct. He needs that money spending on that squad, because even he knows deep down that Man United team is not good enough to get top four. It's not. And we're basically relying on backup trophies to get Man United back successful again on the pitch. And if we don't have a good season till the end of the campaign, and we're out of both the cup competitions in the FA Cup and Carabao Cup, and then we get knocked out Europa League, we're basically scraping top four again because of the failings of the board and the hierarchy above Erik ten Hag's head. And that is basically what is happening in this January transfer window. And I want Man United to win tomorrow night. Of course I do. I want to win everything that's available. And I think it's why you looked at that bench on Tuesday night against Bournemouth. You had Varane on it, Garnacho, Lisandro Martinez. I think there was a reason why they were benched. I think Erik ten Hag knows he needs them available for Friday because he knows Everton are difficult to break down. And look, we only scraped past them in the league. And that was difficult enough, only winning 2-1 thanks to Ronaldo's 700th club career goal. So what are Manchester United meant to do? Well, you know he's going to have to use every player he's got available. And hopefully you're going to see Anthony back fixed. I know he's back in training. And hopefully Jadon Sancho will somehow be involved Friday night. But if he's not, you then got to start questioning, does Jadon Sancho have a future at this club? Does he realistically have a plan about being a Man United player for the rest of his career? I don't know what's going to happen with Jadon Sancho. Will they sell him? Will they loan him? I don't know what's going to happen. But I would rather sell other players ahead of Jadon Sancho. And that would be Martial and Elanga. I would sell both of them now. I think they're not good enough. And if they start against Everton on Friday night, I think it's going to be a same tale of we are not getting the manager the players he wants. And basically the striker he wants in January, he's not going to get. And if we really go for Choupo-Moting from Bayern Munich, that basically says all over. What the fuck is his club doing? I don't want a failure of a season again. I'm not going to sit here and wait 5 to 10 years to be successful again. I want success at this club, and I want it now. I'm not sitting there for the next 10 years saying we're still in the same mess. I want Man United to sign players because they don't do it. This is why we fail. You don't get the manager the players he wants. This is why we keep failing. And Erik ten Hag, for me, has to be back this January. He's got to. And that starts by getting his backup goalkeeper in. It doesn't excite me. It's Jack Butland, but as soon as we announce the signing, I'll go live and applaud it. If that's the goalkeeper ten Hag wants and that's what he wanted, then I'll applaud that signing. But it doesn't get me off my feet, and it doesn't really get me excited that we got bloody Jack Butland from Crystal Palace. I mean, no disrespect. I mean, a Crystal Palace third choice goalkeeper. It says a lot about this club because they could not afford a goalkeeper in summer in 2022, apparently. Wink, wink, all lies of bullshit again. And this is why Ten Hag, unfortunately, is going to have to use his full-strength team Friday night. He knows that if he doesn't go full strength, he is going to lose Friday night. Man United will be out the FA Cup, and all basically we'll have left is the Carabao Cup, Europa League, and get in top four. And even that, for me, that's not enough, because if you don't win any of these competitions, it's another failure of pure incompetence by Manchester United again to back another manager. It's pure and simple. It's in black and white right in front of you, really, that you have to back the manager for every player he wants. If you want to play, Man United have to deliver it. Because if you don't deliver it, you're relying on the basic called dead wood again. At Man United, you know ain't good enough, and it will show on the pitch in inconsistent results. It will show very, very quickly. So what team would I go with Friday night? Well, I think obviously it's going to be David De Gea in goal, because obviously you're not going to use Tom Heaton against Everton. I mean, if we use Tom Heaton, he'll have goals put past him very, very easily. I think with Jack Butland coming in on loan till the end of the season on a 6-month loan deal, I think that's a good bit of business, but, don't get me excited. But obviously he ain't going to be signed in time, and I think David De Gea has kept in clean sheet after clean sheet, and that is down to David De Gea's pure talent of a world-class goalkeeper. For me, he's one of the best goalkeepers in the Premier League. I rate him over Alisson. I rate him over Ederson. I rate him over Kepa. I rate him over Ramsdale. He's such a better goalkeeper, and this is why he's been keeping clean sheets, because he knows Eric Ten Hag is getting Manchester United back to playing the way they actually want to play, and that is to be winning on and be successful on the pitch. So obviously I think it will be De Gea in goal, only if he doesn't pick up an injury, and this is why they've gone for Jack Butland. So for me, it's De Gea in goal. We then move on to the right back. Wolves want Aaron Wan-Bissaka, right? I do not want Aaron Wan-Bissaka. He ain't good enough. He's never going to be a Man United full-time right back. Why don't we just sell Wan-Bissaka and get rid? How hard is it for Manchester United to get rid of Aaron Wan-Bissaka? If Wolves are willing to pay 20 million for Aaron Wan-Bissaka, please sell him and go and get a striker in, because that is what Eric Ten Hag wants. But I don't want Wan-Bissaka starting Friday night. I just don't want any risks being taken. I want Man United to basically put Diego Dalot back in that team. He's back fit. He's back in training. He was on the bench against Bournemouth the other night and came on in the second half. If Diego Dalot is Eric Ten Hag's preferred right back, Diego Dalot has to be in that Man United starting 11 on Friday night, because Aaron Wan-Bissaka will get exposed very, very quickly if he does not go with the proper team that is actually needed at Manchester United. Diego Dalot is a better right back than Aaron Wan-Bissaka, and people need to realise that. But in my opinion, I don't rate Dalot. I don't think he's ever going to be good enough for Manchester United, and unfortunately, it will carry on happening if Man United do not get a right back in the summer or even in January. So for me, it's Diego Dalot all day back in on Friday night against Everton. I don't want any risk being taken on that defence. We have to go full strength. So Diego Dalot comes back in for me. Aaron Wan-Bissaka drops to the bench. We then move on to the two centre-backs. For me, Varane and Lisandro Martinez have to be back in. I couldn't understand really why they were both on the bench against Bournemouth. I couldn't really understand why they weren't getting used. And I really couldn't understand the tactics from Ten Hag starting Magaluf again in Victor Lindelof and Harry Maguire. I can't understand when both of those players are not good enough and they're getting ahead of Varane and Martinez again. I mean, if we'd gone back to the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer days of using Magaluf at centre-back, Gallagher, look, I'm back managing Manchester United. I've got Lindelof and Maguire back in defensive with Luke Shaw and Aaron Wan-Bissaka. What is Eric Ten Hag doing? I don't want Lindelof. I don't want Maguire. They ain't good enough. And if you start them against an Everton team, they are going to get exposed defensively, because Damari Gray, Iwobi and Anthony Gordon will just run past Maguire and Lindelof pretending it ain't even there. It will happen. And for me, Martinez and Varane has to come back in. They're Eric Ten Hag's preferred two-choice centre-backs. They've both got a great partnership between both of them. And they've been playing defensively well for Man United up until the World Cup. Then the World Cup break came in. And then all of a sudden, it's Maguire and Lindelof again. And I can't understand why both of them are still being used. If you know they're not good enough, what are they doing in a Man United shirt? You need to be ruthless at this club. And apparently, we're still not doing it. And this is what annoys me the most. If you want to be successful at a football club, you have to be ruthless but brutal. You have to get rid of the shit and replace it with the great. And that is what you do with that defence. Varane comes back in, World Cup winner, Champions League winner with Real Madrid. Lisandro Martinez, World Cup winner with Argentina. You have to have your preferred centre-back duo back starting Friday night, because I would not want to see Anthony Gordon, Calvert-Lewin, Damari Gray, and Onana running at Maguire and Lindelof. They would walk past them like they're not even there. It'd be like walking through a ghost. That is what Man United do in that defence. You put your preferred two choice centre-backs back in that team to keep quiet the Everton attacking front three, and even to keep Onana quiet, because Onana can run with the ball and he can play well in an Everton midfield. And for me, he's one of Everton's best midfielders. I think for me, he's their second best player at the club apart from Anthony Gordon, possibly Damari Gray at Bush. So I think you have to prevent Everton from attacking that Man United goal. And that is why putting Lisandro Martinez and Varane back in is important Friday night to keep another clean sheet. I mean, we win it on Friday night. That's 7 wins in a row. That's 4 clean sheets in a row as well. So it basically shows where Man United are heading. We're heading upwards. We're going to get better and better. And we're showing that now. You look at the results, we're getting better. We're being feared again. And that's what I like. So then we move on to left back. I think for me, I would put Malacia back in. I did not see all the hype and praise Luke Shaw got against Bournemouth. I can't understand how. I know he scored a goal, but don't get overhyped on him. He's not been good for the last 5 years. And for me, I think this is why Malacia was brought. I think Malacia in 5 to 10 years' time is going to be Man United's preferred choice left back. And for me, Luke Shaw, the hype and praise he gets is massively unjustified. And for me, he's never going to be a Man United player for the next 5 to 10 years. I think he's only, like Rashford, 1 or 2 injuries away from being out injured again, and Malacia, and then we'll have to then find another left back to back up Malacia while Luke Shaw's on the medical bench again, recovering from an injury. I still don't rate him. I know he scored Tuesday night against Bournemouth, but, you know, that was then, this is now. You have to be ruthless at a club like Man United, and you have to go with what Erik ten Hag prefers in that Man United team. And for me, Malacia has actually improved in their last few games. But I just couldn't understand why he was even benched against Bournemouth as well. It made no sense to me because he'd been playing well. So I would start Malacia at left back. But I think personally, Erik ten Hag will go for Luke Shaw because I think he's his first choice at the moment. So for me, it's Malacia at left back. We then move on to the midfield three. Fred, I'm hoping, ain't going to be McTominay and Fred. I mean, Newcastle are interested in Scott McTominay. And if I was Man United and I could get 25, 30 million, I would take it to go and get a right back and a striker. I think Man United could do that to get some players in the January transfer window. And for me, Scott McTominay, I don't think he's personally been out ill. I think there's been something going on behind the scenes. I think he's been told he's not part of Erik ten Hag's plans. I think he's also been told he doesn't have a future at the club. And for me, all the hype he gets just because he's been in Man United's academy through and through, it doesn't make him a great player. And for me, he's never going to live up to the hype that some fans actually give him. And it's the same with Fred as well. Fred came on against Bournemouth. He came on against Forest. And it's like, do you know what? He's absolutely shit, isn't he? No wonder I don't want him playing for this club. He bowled the World Cup for Brazil. As soon as he came on for Brazil against Croatia, it fucked up. Brazil went out. They lost on penalties and banned themselves. That as soon as Fred came on the pitch as a substitute. Fred is not going to live up to the hype like McTominay. He's never going to be good enough. We paid 50 million for a B-Tech Fabinho. He's never going to be good enough. And Man United needs to realise now, the midfield three you've got currently is better than what you've got on the bench. And for me, what do I do with that midfield? It's so damn obvious what you do with that midfield. You have to start Eriksen, Casemiro and Bruno Fernandes. They are Manchester United's best midfield three at the moment. You look at that midfield, for me, we've got a better midfield than most of those top 6 clubs in the Prem. I think for me, we've got a better midfield than Chelsea. We've got a better midfield than Liverpool. We've got a better midfield than Arsenal and Chelsea and Tottenham. Even Man City. We've got better midfields than all those clubs put together. I rate our midfield over most of the top European clubs. I think Eriksen and Casemiro have worked absolute miracles in that midfield. And it's amazing me how Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and Jose Mourinho absolutely neglected the CDM position and don't think we needed one. And look where it went wrong. Both managers were sacked. You look at it now, Erik ten Hag is absolutely hitting the nail on the head. Man United needed a CDM, and this is why we signed Casemiro, because he knew that midfield was lacking a CDM to have a CDM in front of the back four. We didn't have that. And then, like you say, you move on to Christian Eriksen. For me, he's got the second most assists behind Kevin De Bruyne. I mean, that basically shows Christian Eriksen can still do it at the top level. And for me, he goes into the Premier League team of the season. For me, he's been absolutely fantastic. And Brentford fans are basically having to sat down, take a massive L because of the stick and the treatment you gave him when he came back to Brentford when we got dicked 4-0 by you. The stick and unjustified comments you made against him was unfair because he basically kept you in the Premier League single-handedly and he was basically your best player. And Eriksen in the Man United shirt has been on absolute fire. He's electric in that midfield. And this is why also you start Bruno Fernandes. Since Eriksen and Casemiro have come in, Fernandes has been able to move forward more with the ball in a more of an attacking position and support the front attacking three more. We didn't see that at Man United last season because he knew. He looked at that midfield, I've got McTominay and Fred. He looks at midfield now, I've got Christian Eriksen and Casemiro. And he's also got Donny van der Beek, but unfortunately, it looks like Donny van der Beek's done his ACL in his knee. And I mean, I still can't understand how the Bournemouth centre-back did not get a red card on Tuesday night because that could have ended Donny van der Beek's career. And I mean, I feel sorry for Donny van der Beek. He can't catch a cold in this team, and he starts a game and he goes off injured with a really bad-looking injury, and he's going to be out for most of the season. Obviously, I wish Donny van der Beek a full and speedy recovery very soon. Hope to see him back in a Man United shirt. He's one of my best midfielders, and I think that's why Fernandes is also looking at midfield because he knows he's also got Donny van der Beek there now. Donny van der Beek is forcing himself into this Man United team now, and I would have started him Friday night. But of that ACL injury, it's basically going to end his season, and I don't think, will he be in the next 3 to 4 years? I don't know. But I rate Donny van der Beek highly, and for me, he has to be in that Man United team. And you never know, he might make a miraculous recovery, and he might be back Friday. But with the injury he had, it just looks serious enough to be out for a season. I feel sorry for Donny because I feel like he's such a good player and he offers Man United a lot in attacking position in that midfield. And for me, he's better than McTominay and Fred. He's always going to be better than McFred, and he's always going to be better than McFred. And for me, I feel sorry for him because I would have started him against Everton, but I think the midfield three picks itself. I think you've got Fernandes, Casemiro and Eriksen, and that's going to be your midfield three. We then move on to the attack. I think, yet again, the attack picks itself. You looked at the game against Bournemouth and you looked at it from a bigger point of view. I don't want to see Anthony Martial in the Man United shirt again. He's not a number 9. He ain't a striker and he ain't a goal scorer. This is why we want one in this January transfer window in 2023. And unfortunately, against Bournemouth, he had 3 or 4 clear-cut chances to put the ball in the net and he ain't doing it. And unfortunately, this is the tale of Man United season all over again. This just reminds me when we couldn't score under Solskjaer or Ragnick. We didn't have strikers who could put the ball into the back of the net. And you saw that at Man United, and you're still seeing it now. Marcel has to be benched Friday night. I don't want to see him in a Man United shirt again. I'm done with Anthony Martial. So what I would do, Alejandro Garnacho should not have been benched against Bournemouth. That was a complete and idiotic decision made by the manager. And probably the owners of this club dictating what players Erik ten Hag can and cannot start. And for me, Garnacho is going to be up there with Ronaldo and Messi in the future. He's going to be one of Man United's best players for the next 5 to 10 years, depending if he's going to be here that long. Garnacho has to come back in on the left wing. You look at the difference he made as soon as he came on to replace Donny van der Beek Tuesday night. You look at the difference, and it was night and day how great Man United became again. It's because they knew he's got so much potential. He's got so much skill. He's got so much talent to take his games to the next level. And Garnacho's got that in an influence. He's basically got that Ronaldo DNA in him. He's got that attitude. He's got that charisma. He's got the skill. He's got the pace. He's got the ability. And I think Garnacho's going to be a threat for the next 5 to 10 years. For me, he's going to have a bigger future at Man United than what Anthony Martial is. So I would put Garnacho back in on the left. What I would then do with the right wing, you have to put Anthony back in. Could not understand how he did not feature against Bournemouth on Tuesday night when he was absolutely, in my opinion, world class against Wolves in the previous game before the Bournemouth game. He was world class and was one of our best players in that Wolves game. And funny how he didn't start then against Bournemouth Tuesday night and apparently was injured. I don't believe he was injured. I think he was dropped, or I think there's a disciplinary issue going on there. I think for me, you take Anthony out that Man United team on the right wing, we look no better with Sancho or Elanga in it. For me, Anthony's one of our best players at the club. We've not had a decent left-footed right winger in nearly 5 to 10 years, in my opinion. And I think he offers such a threat, and I think he will start Friday night. I think Everton will not be able to deal with his pace, his skill, and his attacking threat when he's got that ball on his left foot. And he's got the skill and the goals in him to make that position his own for the next 5 to 10 years. I think Anthony, also like Garnacho, is going to be up there with Ronaldo and Messi in the future. And he's going to be there, one of Man United's best players on the ball and off the ball. I think he offers Man United so much, and the amount of criticism he gets. I know he's still adapting to life, but don't jump on his back saying he's crap and everything. He's not. He's our £85 million left-footed right winger, and people are moaning out saying, well, he's been shit, he's been crap. He's still adapting. It's going to take time. It's not going to happen overnight. We can't just ask City to borrow his magic wand and Magic Anthony straight away into that team thinking he's going to be electric. It's going to take time. It's a new league. It's a new competition for him. And all these players are going to make their debut. I mean, Eriksen will, Casemiro, Anthony, Lisandro Martinez, Malacia. They're all going to make their debuts in the FA Cup because they've not played it for in the Man United shirt. They're all going to make their debut, and Anthony has to be selected because I think he can offer such more of a threat. And Everton's back four will not cope with the attacking threat that right wing is being offered by Anthony with his left foot. He's got left foot like dynamite. He's basically got Ronnie O'Sullivan's Q action in his left foot because Ronnie O'Sullivan is left and right-handed when he's trying to pop the balls into the holes on the snooker table. He's got that in abundance, Anthony. And I think if you take him out of that team, we look no better with Sancho or even Elanga out there. And you can't put them out there because, for me, Sancho's better off the left. Elanga's not a right winger. Elanga is a striker. And for me, you have to put the £85 million right winger you paid for and Ten Hag desperately wanted in the summer, which Man United gave him. And you know what? We're a better team with Anthony in it. We're not a better team without him in it. We look absolutely abysmal without Anthony on the right wing. And I hope he's going to be an absolute dynamite on Friday night. I think Erik Ten Hag will start him, depending if he's fully fit. And hopefully he will be. I just don't believe he was injured. I think there was something else going on. I think he was just dropped because he didn't do enough against Wolves. But for me, he did. And I think he got a lot of misunderstood criticism he didn't deserve. I think some Man United fans need to wake up and open their eyes a little bit. What would you rather do? Have Elanga and Martial on the right wing? I think I know what option I would want. I'd rather have Anthony, the £85 million right winger we actually paid for. So we then move on to our main attacking striker. It's Marcus Rashford. Top goal scorer so far this season. 13 goals for Man United in this 2022-2023 campaign. I think Everton are bricking it because they know the threat Marcus Rashford is going to have on the ball. They know the skill and the goals he can get, and they know his pace he's also got. And I think Everton simply will not deal with Marcus Rashford. I think the way Marcus Rashford's high on confidence, his skills, his goals, his ability on and off the ball, he's got the pace to attack Everton's back four. And I think Everton know if they go 1 or 2-0 down and Marcus Rashford's lighting up, they will simply not be able to cope with that. But like I said, we can't keep relying on Marcus Rashford to score for Man United week in, week out. Because the amount of times we'll overuse him, we're going to have to, because Man United have basically said we're trying to do things on the cheap again. We're not going to get the manager the striker he wants, so we're going to have to use a third or fourth choice option. But like I said, if Rashford starts to get to Everton Friday night, I don't think he will. I think Ten Hag has got the full ability and the confidence with Marcus Rashford up front, down the middle. I think he knows if Rashford picks up an injury, does his hamstring or ankle or knee injury, we're screwed. And then you've got Elanga and Martial, and that ain't good enough for a manager like Erik Ten Hag's ability, who's got the confidence and the skill and the awareness that a proper management was needed at this club. And I think Rashford's got the belief from the manager and the coaches. And I think he's got the confidence in him at the moment to keep his goal scoring record up. I think he will score on Friday night if he starts, and I think he will have to, because for me, he's the best option we've got. Okay, I know. Yeah, I think Rashford has to start, because if we take Rashford out of that team, we simply will not put the ball into the back of the net. And I think if we go with attacking three of Martial, Elanga and Anthony, it will show very quickly on Friday night where the goal scoring threat simply isn't there. And I'm hoping that Rashford can keep himself fit for the rest of the season. Rashford can keep on his goal scoring record, because of 13 goals, it basically shows where it so badly went wrong under Rangnick. It shows where it went wrong under Solskjaer. And it basically exposes that Man United do actually need another striker. And hopefully Rashford will keep himself up, his confidence, his goal scoring ability. And hopefully he'll be the player we can trust with future onwards, upwards from Marcus Rashford. But for me, he's still massively inconsistent. There's still a lot I want to see in him. There's still a lot of improvement I want to see in his game. But for me, he's a different player than what he was under Solskjaer and Rangnick. I think Erik ten Hag has brought the confidence back out in him. I think the game has changed, and I think Marcus Rashford looks a better player now than what we've seen under all our previous managers. And I think he's actually got the confidence and the belief back himself because he knows he's got Erik ten Hag managing him. He knows he's got the belief and the confidence from the manager, and he knows he's scoring goals for fun. And that is why, for me, Marcus Rashford starts Friday night against Everton, third round, home game, Old Trafford, 8 p.m. kickoff, Friday night, 6th of January, 2023. That is my starting lineup. It's De Gea in goal, Delo at right back, Varane and Lisandro Martinez at centre back, Malacia at left back, midfield three of Casemiro, Fernandes and Eriksen, attacking three, Garnacho, Rashford and Anthony. So let me know who you think is going to start for Man United Friday night against Everton in the third round FA Cup. Let me know what your scoreline prediction is going to be. For me, I'm going to go for 4-0 Man United. I think Everton's vulnerability is there in defence. I think there will be goals to be scored against Everton's defence. And I think the way Lampard is managing that club, I think this is going to be his last game in charge. I think Frank Lampard will probably be sacked after this game, and they'll probably try and get a new manager until the end of the season to keep them in the Prem. So yeah, I'm going to go 4-0 Man United, and hopefully we'll be through to round 4 of the 2022-2023 Emirates FA Cup this season. So I hope you enjoyed this preview. Remember to hit the like button, hit the share button, and please keep subscribing to United Red Devils 20 on YouTube. We're only 8 single subscribers away from 400. Please keep subscribing if you're new. Remember to share the video, hit the tweet button, hit the retweet button. Remember to put that notification bell on at all times as well to receive all this amazing content I've got planned for all of you right throughout 2023. We're going to get Hogwarts Legacy, Kingdom Hearts 4, more FIFA 23 career mode with Los Angeles, Manchester United. We're doing the women's FIFA 23 prediction for their World Cup campaign this year. We've got Kingdom Hearts 4. We've got more Fortnite, Disney Dreamlight Valley, more previews, more match reactions, and get yourself involved in future content and brand new gaming. Also get yourself involved in this channel and become part of something great that you're all going to be proud of and look forward to in your futures. And come and do live content with me. Come join me on a live video. Come and do some content with me, because this channel's not about me. This is about all of you amazing people out there. So please keep subscribing to United Red Devils 20 on YouTube. Hope you enjoy the rest of your Thursday afternoon. Remember to stay safe, be nice and be kind to each other. And please join me for the Emirates FA Cup third round match reaction, which hopefully is going to be positive on Friday night. And hopefully Manchester United will be through to round 4 of the 2022-2023 Emirates FA Cup. But you know what the FA Cup's like? It can bring up magic, and certain results don't always go the way we always want them. But hopefully Man United will win Friday night and make it 7 wins in a row in all competitions. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday afternoon. Enjoy your Thursday evening as well. Join me Friday night, third round match reaction to Man United's game against Everton. Hopefully it's a win. Hopefully we get a few more goals, and hopefully Erik ten Hag's team can make it 7 wins in a row in all competitions. And for me, this is going to be Lampard's time on the wall. This will be Lampard's last game as Everton manager, because I think Manchester United are going to absolutely dismantle Everton, because look at the form. Speak to you guys soon. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday afternoon. Thanks for watching. You're all amazing. Thank you.